Hi, everybody. You're listening to the Spin Market Report on the Spin Market Podcast Network, where real stories meet real impact. Our podcast network has thousands of local and regional listeners tuning in each week. That means businesses are getting heard and communities are staying connected. Did you want to get your brand in front of a highly engaged audience? Contact Spin Market today at www.spinmarket.com for more information. Now let's get into the episode.
It's the Spin Market Report. Here's your host, Peter Stockdale.
Hey, we are back. It's the Spin Market Report, and this is the first time we have had a return guest.
Yes.
I forgot to say, it is Marketing Monday. It's always Marketing Monday.
Always Marketing Monday here at Spin Market.
I love it. But Laura Todd, you've been on the podcast before.
Yes, it's good to be back.
She's a
good
veteran.
to see you all.
She's a veteran.
Yes, thanks for
absolutely.
allowing us to come back and see you all.
And one of your cohorts from BVU is joining us. It's Jen Stockdall, which is fun because our names are very similar, but they're not the same.
Most people pronounce mine that way.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh, wow. So last time you guys were on the podcast was actually, I have it written down here, it was August 12th, 2024.
Wow.
Which was episode number 9 of the podcast, which was kind of when we really started getting after it here. Mm-hmm. You know, first handful of episodes, we didn't really have a set schedule and we were kind of just doing it as we pleased. And then we really started getting after it. You guys were one of the first people we've had on.
And you had a great number of views on it as well.
It was really good. So kudos to you guys for joining us on that. That was Laura and Jean was here, I believe, correct? Jean Brawl. So we've got somebody new here from BVU. So let's kind of go through it. One of the things we had talked about earlier was before the episode was you guys have office locations everywhere, all around the state. We kind of touched on it a little bit in the last episode, but one of the things we didn't touch on was some of these places have been there for 50 plus years. So you did have a list of them down here. Can you name them all? Do you remember them all?
That's going to be your test today.
Yes, I'll hand that over to Jen. She's pretty well versed in that.
Yeah, so Fort Dodge, actually, we have been in the community at Iowa Central for 50 years this year.
Wow.
So we just hit 50 years a few months back. So that's really exciting.
It is.
Awesome.
We also have our offices in Sioux City. I believe that's at 7 years. We have an office in Council Bluffs at Iowa Western. We have Ottumwa. We have Mason City. So the 5 big locations.
Yeah, you named them all. Council Bluffs and Ottumwa are both right around 50 years as well. I think 49 and 51 respectively as of the stats you guys sent over. But I do want to touch a little bit maybe on like the online programs or something that we've had a lot of connection between us, mostly because of the Alliance Connection podcast. We do all the editing and production work here for that, and you guys are one of the sponsors for that. So I've gotten to know a lot of what's going on at BVU just via that, you know, being the editor of that podcast. So how about the online programs? One of the things that we've kind of been talking a lot about outside the podcast was you can take them anywhere, you know, and they're set up for people who are working individuals. They're set up for people who maybe don't have the opportunity to get to a campus to take these classes. Can we talk a little bit about them? Maybe how long have they been around?
Yeah, so online programs has been around for 20 years this year. So it really just gives people the opportunity that are maybe place-bound. They don't have the opportunity to just pick up and leave. They have a family. They have a full-time position. That they could just take classes fully online with our programs. So really just meeting the students where they're at.
All right. So is that 4-year classes or is that do a master's as well? Can you do online master's classes there too?
You can. All of our master's programs are fully online.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
That's awesome. I mean, that's perfect for people that have the 4-year, are working and maybe have a family and they just don't have, like you said, they're either place bound or they just, I don't have the time to drive over here and then take a night class every week, you know, or 2-3 times a week or whatever it is. That's perfect. That's awesome. So the online undergrad programs, what's the format for those? Like, how do they all work out? Because I know we had talked about it a little bit beforehand, but like how long are the courses or how many courses do you have to take, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, so really it's up to the student because there are some students that simply, you know, they just take classes as they can. But our terms are 7.5 weeks as of next fall. Right now they are still 8 weeks. So 7.5 weeks. So they're going to end on a Wednesday to give students a little bit of time to recoup and relax, and then they will start back up on Monday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Otherwise, they would end on Friday and have to start again on Monday, right?
Oh, wow. That'd be back to back.
Yes.
So are there grants available for these? This is something else that we were kind of talking a little bit about. And I know that it's always on people's mind, the cost of education. I know I went back to school as an adult. It was very much worth it to go back to school as an adult, but this is something that people always think about. So how about grants and financial aid of sorts?
Yeah, so our tuition obviously is, a little bit higher. We are a private institution. However, most of our students do qualify for grants and loans, whether they're federal or state. We also have some scholarship opportunities. So we do have Pell Grant for most of our students, and then Iowa Tuition Grant is one of the best things available to our students because most of our students come from Iowa. And so Iowa Tuition Grant is for those private universities to be able to offer to Iowa residents to kind of help bridge that gap between private and public tuition.
And this isn't on here, but when I went back to school as an adult, I went to a 4-year university. It was private, et cetera, but it took me a little longer than I would have. I didn't apply for grants when I first went, and it was something I didn't know. So do you guys have some people in your financial offices kind of letting people know that that's an option?
Yeah, so we have a graduate financial specialist and we have an undergraduate online financial specialist to really help just guide students. We have a lot of students that have been out of college for so many years and maybe have never even applied for financial aid. And so sometimes we hear, oh, well, I'm not going to be eligible for any aid. And so just telling them, well, it's worth a shot to at least try to apply for federal funding and see what you get. Because you can always decline your loans, things like that, and at least see if you are eligible for those grants.
That sounds exactly like my story. I was just like, I don't think and they said, just apply. You never know. And
that's what happened to me when I went to school. When I went to college, we didn't qualify for loans because I was still dependent at the time. And I didn't even think to, still file the FAFSA and see what kind of grants I would get. So,
yeah, I think that's one of the things I tripped over that when I went to school, and I wished I would have done a little bit more due diligence on that. But it's great that you guys have a finance department there that's willing to help people out, and you have it split apart, so because it's a little bit different if you're going 4-year, if you're going for a master's. So that's really cool that you guys have that.
Yeah.
How about some of your most popular programs? This is always one of my favorite things to talk about when I talk to, I did a lot of visits when I went back to school as a late 20-year-old, and it's like, what do people take here? What do people like to take here? What are you best at? Or what are the things that people come out of here and they're like, you need to get an education in this at this university. So what are some of your most popular courses?
Yeah, so education is probably our most popular program, followed by human services and business. We have organizational leadership, we have psychology. So those are still good programs, but those are our probably top 3.
Nice. Yeah. One of the things I know, Laura, you and I have talked about a little bit in our correspondence was the Master's in Organizational Leadership program. Can we talk a little bit about that? Like what exactly that is, or?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So really from an undergraduate level, it fits well with any graduate or undergraduate degree. So it's really just a nice way to pivot into, an advanced degree, no matter what you've taken, whether it's psychology, business, even maybe education if you decide not to go into teaching. But if you do take classes at the undergraduate level, it's just an extra year to get into the Master's in Organizational Leadership program. But if you're coming back to school to get your advanced degree, there's different concentrations that you can do with our Master's in Org Leadership program, which Jen mentioned is fully online. So if you have a human and resources interest or sports leadership or maybe in the healthcare industry and you're looking to advance your degree, those are all different options with the Master's in Organizational Leadership program.
So this program is a way to basically like set somebody up for being a leader in their field as opposed to just being, and not just being, but, let's say like you have a medical degree of some sort. This would help you go to the next level and maybe be an admin of some sort or be a supervisor or a boss somewhere, basically.
Yeah, definitely looking to enhance your leadership skills, make you agile, systems thinking, how you're working with a team of people. So it's really meant to work alongside your current career. A lot of people that take those courses really apply those concepts and what they're learning, like right on the job, right as they're in the class. So it's really pertinent for, real time and what they're doing in their job. So it's really cool that as they're interacting with their classmates in this online program, they're bringing their real world experience back to everyone else. And that just kind of enhances really what they're learning, but, can also bring their experience to the table too.
I like that.
And I think that brings up a good point, because when you're in a working environment and going to school at the same time, applying a lot of the things that you're learning, it's a whole different way of learning even more, taking it to the next step. So it's not just you doing it online, answering the questions, passing the quiz, whatever it is. It's going, okay, I'm in the situation, and we talked about it, or that was part of my lesson plan that I just got done, and be able to actually be able to use it and see how it works in the natural setting.
Right. Yeah. Good point. Absolutely.
It's really cool because we have a lot of our own staff that have gone for a master's in organizational leadership. So even just seeing them progress in their careers and seeing how they've made those big changes is kind of cool to see it come to life.
Well, and then you brought up another good point is they've gone through it. So when they're talking to the new students, they're able to actually give them examples of how it helped them to expand their ability to do whatever they're looking for in the future in the job industry.
Absolutely.
Good.
Yeah, you had mentioned this is something, and I mean, for those that don't know, I do most of the editing and most of the side production work for all the podcasts here at Spin Market. But when I go through and listen to these and when I edit them down, you brought up something that a lot of people are bringing up in their podcasts, and that's either entrepreneurs or business leaders, or even on the Growth Alliance podcast, they talk about how businesses need to be this way. You mentioned the word agile. I think that's very important is everything moves so fast nowadays that it behooves people to be agile in that sense. I never really thought of, you think of agility as like fitness thing, but at the same time, if you can bob and weave and move around and do the things that are necessary in a business world and do it well, that's actually something that's going to, better you and the company. I mean, companies have to be agile too. And in order to be agile, you have to have agile workers leading the way. And I think that was like you said that and I was just like, oh, this is great. This is such a good point to kind of touch back on. But yeah, being agile, it's very, very important.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think what I like the best about it is that you have a different perspective when you're 25 or 26 going back to school.
Yes.
Versus 20 and 21.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Because you've already had some real life situations, job situations, whatever it may be, and gives you a different look on how you want to take those classes and what you want to get out of them. Mm-hmm. So I think it's, it's, if anything, it's almost behoove you to maybe wait a couple of years after you get done with your regular, instead of just going right into a master's or whatever, go out into the work world, get a little idea of what it's like, and then go and get your master's. And you give all the ability for them to do it and work full time and still take care of a family or whatever it may be.
Yeah. I mean, this is going to show my ignorance, I guess. But like, I used to just be like, well, you got to have a doctorate degree to make a bunch of money, or you got to have a master's. But it wasn't until I took a 2-year course and I had a 2-year degree, I was like, oh, I can actually go out and do something with this. And I've actually upped my game. And when I went out into the workforce and then came back and was just like, now I'm going to go for a 4-year, it actually made sense. Cause like you said, I had more experience, and it's like, now I know how to apply the things I learned here, and I took it to the next level. And that's the same thing with the master's. Like, you can go to 4 years, and my sister just got her master's, and she's, sorry, Ann, she's in her 40s. So, is she? She's probably 40 now. But,
okay.
But yeah, she went and got her master's just now. And I mean, she's doing just fine, before she got it, but she was like, yeah, now I think I'm ready to go do something different or take the next step. And it does benefit people as adults to go get their masters, and it can allow you to pivot, like be agile. You can change industries if you want to, or do something different within your own industry. And I think that's one of the benefits of going and getting a master's is exactly that. And what better place to get one than leadership, because that's what everybody wants.
Oh.
We all want to be leaders in an industry in some capacity, or
it's something that can be used in every part of anybody's life,
right?
Whether it's personal, business, or volunteer, or whatever it may be. That's something that anybody can use.
Yeah.
So let's talk about BVU. You're a 4-year university primarily. That's how I figured out that you guys existed. I went to Iowa Central and said, hey, you can transfer out to BVU here, get your 4-year there, and they'll take some of the Iowa Central classes, and it's all accredited together. But how many transfer students do you usually get? Like, because is it mostly people that come in to do the full 4 years, or do you have a lot of people that come in after 2 years of taking community college classes, whether it be at Iowa Central or elsewhere in the state?
Yeah, the majority of our students are transfer students. At one point, we only accepted transfer students into our what was distance learning programs. So they had to have a minimum of 56 transferable credits to come over to BVU. We have opened that up now to accept freshmen, but that is not where, our niche is. We really do work well with those transfer students because of our partnerships with the community colleges.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad you brought it up there at the end, because I think that's one of the best parts is you guys partner up with the community colleges very, very well across the state in order to do this. Not that other places would, don't do it or wouldn't do it, but I've always noticed that that's something that you guys have done very, very well. I mean, most of what I do is either like here in the Fort Dodge area or north and west. And I know you guys have a lot of strength out there with the community colleges up there. And I remember I worked in Emmitsburg for a while. A lot of people always talked about BVU up there. It was like one of their favorite things up there. So I just think the transfer thing was something that it seemed so novel to me. I guess I just thought you had to go somewhere for 4 years. That's the only way you could get a 4-year degree. And again, that was just me with my ignorance, not knowing, at the time when I finally went back to school. But it was a powerful tool to go to Iowa Central and realize that I could go to BVU and just continue there, and maybe not have to go there for the full 4 years, but I could go there for 2 and finish it off. It was really kind of cool.
Yeah, and a lot of times, these transfer students can actually finish their program in less than 2 years, because if they are going full time, it usually works out to be a year and a half.
Oh, because you could take some in the summertime, I'm guessing?
Yep. So we are 6 terms throughout the year. We're back to back. The only breaks we really have is for, the winter time, and then we have a spring break, but that's it.
Awesome. Yeah. A little spring break. I mean,
yeah.
maybe some people think that's the best part of college. Maybe some people spend a little too much time on that. So another thing we had talked about, Laura, was your strategic partnership division. And this is something that when I heard about this, I was like, this is actually really cool. And from what I can gather, your school partners with businesses to help further the education of the employees within those businesses, which benefits the business long term. So Can we talk a little bit about this? Like, how did it start, or what are all the benefits? Because I feel like I broad stroked it a little too much. But
no, I appreciate you bringing that up. So we've been doing that initiative as far as partnering with different organizations for nearly 5 years now, and we're coming up about 200 different partners that we work with across the state, and it really is wonderful to work with them. We are adding to their employee benefit package. So we are offering their team, when they partner with us as a business, discounted tuition to attend BVUs. So whether they're in our online undergraduate programs or our master's in organizational leadership program, or also what's really great about it is it doesn't just benefit the employee there, it also extends to their eligible family members. So we're looking at a spouse or a domestic partner or dependents up to age 26 that can also use the benefit, whether they're doing that online program or they want to come to Storm Lake and be on campus and have that residential campus experience. So that's what I really like about it, is it goes beyond just the employee there into their family, and really just looking to give them, you're talking about the cost of school and giving them an opportunity to have the most affordable price or, experience to attend BVU. Like Jen said, they have such a great team of people to help them from, inquiry to graduation and help them through their financial aid questions. And then we can come alongside them and say, hey, yeah, we partner with your organization. You get some discounted tuition because of that, and that gets added into their financial aid package. So it's really awesome to be able to help provide that.
I mean, this is why you're here. I'm glad you're here to talk about how it extends to the family members as well. Right. Because that was something that I just glossed over. I mean, I didn't put it in my notes, and I think that's really important. You said up to 26 years old for a dependent.
Right.
Man, yes. I would almost wish my parents were involved somehow in something like this, because I would have just slid under, right under the wire in there. That would have been really cool.
Right.
So the benefits of this is it benefits the family. It benefits the person that works there. I mean, another thing is it helps with an employer? Because I mean, how awesome would it look if you had an employee benefit package and this was part of it?
Right.
You know, that'd be powerful as far as I'm concerned. Because I mean, we all, you know, all the employers have all the same benefits, it seems like. But if somebody was just like, you can go back to school and it'll benefit you to do this, and it'll benefit us, and we'll help defray the costs in some capacity. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. So, I mean, it benefit for the company, benefit for the employee, but. How many partners participate in this? I know I have a list over here that you had for some in the Fort Dodge area, and it's a large list of things.
Yes, so we are coming up around 200 partners. When we started, I think we had 6.
Wow. That's
about
great.
a year and a half into that, we were around 40, and now we are looking at working with nearly 200 different businesses, whether that's schools or large companies, nonprofits. So there's a lot of different organizations that we work with. It's no cost to partner with us. So that is good news for people as they're considering adding that to their employee benefit package. It's not exclusive to do so. If they're already working with another institution, it wouldn't prohibit that work. So really, again, sky's the limit to help offer that to their team and help them go back to school. So it has been really exciting. I've learned so much about the different businesses in and around the Fort Dodge area, but just in and around our state. There's a lot of really great things going on. So hopefully this tool is, you know, attracting and retaining employees as far as the organization is concerned. And hopefully those people are living, working, staying in Iowa and using that online program that BV provides so they can do that and be a part of their community, but finish their degree.
Yeah, I mean, it benefits the workforce. I just now thought, like, you guys actually have a benefit of this too, where you get to see all the different segments of all the different sectors of industry, and you can be like, well, what are these people coming back to school for? What are they trying to learn, and how can we better prepare people for going out into the workforce and into the industries that they're already in, you know, and you guys get this firsthand eagle eye look at like kind of what's going on out there. I think that's really kind of cool. Do you care if I name some of the?
Yeah, please do. Yeah, we're proud to partner with several in and around the Fort Dodge area. So yeah, I would love if you read those out.
I'm just going to name a handful of them here. You listed a whole pile of them, but this is really cool. The City of Fort Dodge, Community and Family Resources, Fort Dodge Community School Districts, St. Edmunds Schools, Casey's, Fairway, Unity Point Health, one of the biggest employers in all of Fort Dodge. We learned that on our podcast. Okay. Iowa Central, New Cooperative, Central Iowa Recovery, Custom Made Products, Chemna Dealerships, Webster City Community School District, Humboldt Community School District, go Humboldt, Manson Northwest Webster Community School I mean, there's a pile of them on here. And this is really kind of cool that you offer this to all these places. And why wouldn't somebody, I mean, if they had the availability to do it within their budget, why wouldn't they want to partner with you? It's no cost to them. It just seems...
It's such a win-win for everybody, for the community, for the schools, for the people, for the families. I mean, there's not one negative thing that you could pull off of that as far as why you would not want to offer that to your employees.
Yeah, some people are so nervous because they're like... Yeah. They think that there's strings attached and there's not.
Well, there usually is. That's the problem.
It's too good to be true.
It's happened too many. Exactly. Yes. It happens too many times that
once you explain it to them, they get it. Yeah.
What do I have? I mean, what do I have to give up? My firstborn in order to do this, or whatever?
Yeah, and the ask we do have of the organizations that we work with is that we become part of their employee benefit package. So they give their employees information about what is the partnership, what are these discounted programs, how does that work, what are the processes. We don't want it to be difficult for people to apply to come to BV and get this partner grant funding on their financial aid. So we lay that all out for them. But really, as they ask, is that we just become part of their employee benefit package. Here's some information to share with your team when you're doing open enrollment or as you're onboarding a new employee. So they have that opportunity again to advance their degree, finish their degree, wherever we need to meet them. Like Jen said, we meet the student where they're at.
That's awesome. I mean, you're doing the legwork. Here's all the information you need. Just put it in your packet. And,
right.
You know, that's awesome. So this includes online undergraduate programs and the master's in organizational that we had talked about earlier, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Right.
And those are offered at discounts through the employer through this program, correct?
Right. Yes.
Beautiful. I don't know what else to say. Just put a big period at the end. That's awesome.
What I want to comment on is I have a history with Buena Vista for years because my brother-in-law went there, and We sat on the bleachers many years while he was in school watching basketball games, to see how the university has evolved over the years. I mean, of course, first of all, you changed your name,
Right.
as part of it, to better relate to everybody what you're all about when you change it, put that university name on there as well, and to see that you're really understanding how families are changing, businesses are changing, lifestyles are changing, and how you have to adapt to that to make sure that we're keeping the education for everybody out there.
What was the name before it was BVU?
Buena Vista College.
Just Buena Vista
BVC.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, into the early 90s, and then we became BVU.
Giving my age away here, guys.
Well,
Okay. No.
I was around too. I guess I just didn't know.
And your brother-in-law is being inducted
Yes,
into the
Hall of
Fame.
Fame, yes.
Oh, sweet.
Exciting.
There's an O'Hearn that's going to be in the BV University Hall of Fame September 27th, I believe.
That's homecoming weekend. Yes. That'll be exciting.
And I haven't talked to him since he received the award, or notified. So
announcement,
it'll
sure.
be interesting to have a conversation with him. And then, of course, his son is the AD at Humboldt
Very nice.
as well. So
Cool.
the O'Hearn
Connections.
name is out and about.
Yes. Good
Very cool.
connections.
Another thing we had kind of talked about before the episode was that you guys are offering new programs at BVU, correct? Okay, so I have written down some sort of social work, spring 2025, and also victim advocacy track for criminology and criminal justice that starts in the fall of 2025. Can you go over these and kind of explain maybe for people what these courseworks are or why you added them?
Yeah, so social work, gosh, that's been on our wish list for so long for online programs. We've seen the need within the communities to really just further our programs in that area specifically. We have human services, we have psychology, but we didn't have anything like social work where it was licensed. So we did get approval by the Council for Social Work Education.
Wow, that's a long one.
The CSWE, to offer that program fully online. So it has been a program that's been offered on campus, but now we are able to offer that online to students.
Oh, cool.
So it does require practicum, but for students that really want to get that social work licensure done, this is a great opportunity for them, and hopefully they can take advantage of it. We know with having a family and things like that, it can be tough, but we have seen quite a few people become enrolled in that program.
You mentioned it in there. You seeing the need of the communities and finding a way to offer what they need and what they want to them in a way that, like you said, going online with this. You can go to the campus and take these courses, but again, some people might be location locked or just don't have the time to drive all over the place. So
Definitely.
Beautiful. I like that.
Yeah. And then victim advocacy. We used to have a trauma advocacy minor or track. I can't remember exactly which one. But now we have victim advocacy as an added track to our criminology and criminal justice program. So we have a criminology track, we have a criminal justice track, and now we have that victim advocacy track. So for people that are looking to get into just being an advocate for people, that's going to be a great area for them to focus on. So we're really excited to bring that out. People were a little bit bummed to see trauma advocacy go, so this is exciting for us.
Good.
That's really cool. I'm assuming this was also based on the needs of the community or what you guys at the university level kind of seen as far as what people wanted.
Definitely.
Awesome. So we're getting close to the end here, but I do want to say, like, when we were setting up this interview, I had saw something online about this and I didn't know much about it, and I read one article and I said, "Can I ask you about this?" And you said yes, but a news article I'd seen was you guys had some new apartment style dorms that were there, which was, I remember like when I went to Iowa Central and they remodeled their dorms and it was like a big deal, whether that was 20 years ago or whatever it was when I first went there. But this looked really cool. So to take it from somewhere where you just kind of, I don't know, universities 20, 30, 40 years ago, you just kind of put a whole bunch of people in bunk beds and lofts in one room. And then if you want to, go get something to eat, you have to go down the hall and do all this stuff. But now this is like an apartment style place. Can we talk a little bit about these, or like what was where are these dorms at, and what was kind of the thought process behind updating these dorms?
Right. Yes. So like you're talking, campuses always need that constant improvement, and putting in new buildings and considering what the students' needs are and really what they would like to have out of their campus experience. So they built apartment-style housing. We've been anticipating that being complete. It looks beautiful if you're ever in Storm Lake and on campus. So it is premier housing, like you're talking. It's a 4-story building, kind of on the west edge of campus, near some other suite style apartment style housing that we've had. So it will have fully furnished 2 bedrooms. It has a kitchenette, a private bathroom. They've got some amenities there, some private meeting spaces, a fitness area, laundry. So it really gives the students a feel of, being on their own and living in that type of housing instead of the typical dorm that you described and having that experience. So as an upperclassman, you get to go and apply and live in those dorms. So I think it'll be really exciting for those students to have their own kitchenette, but yet they're still on campus and they're close to where their activities and their classes are at. So
yeah,
glad we brought that up. Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful building.
Yeah, the pictures I saw online were crazy. They look so nice.
Yes.
I would like to live there.
Right. Exactly. It is really a beautiful campus right on the lake, and then a lot of the different buildings around there. There's the Arch. There's this new building. They're doing some work on the field house. So again, our board of trustees, our administration at the university, they are really wonderful and forward thinking and really think about what are the next steps for, again, those residential campus students. How do we work with our online students? What are the graduate students looking for? So it is a team of people really evaluating what's next for BVU.
That's awesome. And it just makes me think about when I graduated high school and then I started taking college courses. I was at Iowa Central, but I lived at home and I'd go visit my friends at other universities or other colleges. And it was kind of fun to be like, oh, you live in dorms and this is kind of it kind of feels like this summer camp thing. But like you said, as you age and as your needs change, right, maybe a little bit of privacy might help out. Maybe having something more than just a microwave might be nice to cook with, or something like that. So this is really cool.
Yeah, it's exciting. Definitely that.
Very good.
Well, I know that we are returners here, so it just seems fitting that we give you this coveted BVU t-shirt.
Yay!
Everybody would like one of these, so I just want you to know
this
that
is mine.
you are an
That's
honorary,
right. Yes, honorary.
BVU person, and
I will
Cheryl, we
take it.
can't leave you out as well.
I'll wear these to when Dan gets his award.
Perfect. You're all
very
set
cool.
for that moment at homecoming.
Mine's different.
Yours is a little different.
Yay.
Nice.
Cameras.
Thought Peter need the edgier ones.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I will take
For
it.
him. Thank you very much.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I will. I will get a picture of this and send it to Danny and just say, hey, I'm already ready.
You're ready.
Ready for your award.
Exciting.
Well, I want to say before we end this conversation, thank you so much for being sponsors of the Greater Fort Dodge Growth Alliance website podcast. We really appreciate you doing that, and I know they are very excited to have you as their sponsor for their podcast. Thank you.
Well, thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah.
We enjoy being a part of this community for over 50 years and continuing. So glad we can continue to work together in that way besides academically.
I do want to say one other thing I had on here. I kind of glossed over it, but online programs milestone was 20 years now of online programs at BVU, which is really awesome. I remember, and this is going to show my age, but 20 years ago when online classes were just kind of starting to be a thing that people were starting to kind of offer. That was when I was going to college, was 20 years ago. So it's really kind of neat to see how this has evolved and changed. And you guys have, you repeated it multiple times and I wrote it down. It's all about the needs of whoever needs it, whether it be an industry, whether it be an employer, whether it be their families, whether it be an employee and their families, whether it be a community, or whether it be just the students that are already there, and what do they need to go to the next level. That's what you guys are always kind of keying in on at BVU, and I think that's one of the coolest parts about it. I got one question. I ask everybody the same question. Laura, I bet you do not remember your answer from last time. So I ask everybody the same question. Can you name a time in your life where marketing has impacted you and you possibly didn't know it until afterwards? Everybody answers this differently. I'm actually going to go back and see what you answered the last time and see how it compares. But if you guys want to hear, you got to go back to episode number 9. But yeah, let's see.
And they're all in one place, so you don't have to go anyplace else to look.
Yep.
as far as, I think it's always the story behind something. And I think that moves you. I know we focus on student stories and what that looks like and how we show that to other people so they can see themselves maybe at BVU as a student at BVU. But I think there's a lot of different ways that stories impact you when you're, watching any advertisement on TV, on the radio, whatever it may be. I think it's always just kind of, if there's a story behind it and it catches your attention, it makes you pay more attention to what they are marketing and talking about and how you might want to be involved in that, buy the product, donate the money or the time. So for me, it'd be the story.
That's perfect, because that's the why somebody did this and why it might apply to you. That's exactly when I went back to school. I mean, we interviewed Dawn Humberg, and she was one of the people I talked to when I went back to school. She actually has an office right across the hallway here. But that was something she had kind of had a couple students come in and be like, this is why I went back to school. And even some older ones that were kind of like me. And it was just like, this is why it benefited me. And it's like, that's what I needed to know. This is the perfect information. So yeah, the story is great.
Oh gosh, how does marketing not impact me?
Okay. All right, good. I love it.
I am the queen of infomercials and all of that. No, but to Laura's point, I mean, the stories are really what gets you. Just knowing that, if you see an influencer and it's really impacted them in a way, like I pay attention to that kind of stuff. But then, there's also the less serious side of things too.
Oh,
Very
yeah.
good. Very good.
I mean, that's how marketing's changing nowadays.
Yeah.
Is it doesn't always have to be very, very serious and pointed. Sometimes it can just be off the cuff. And that's kind of what we're doing here on the podcast, is just asking the questions and talking. So
cool. Well, I have something that we started, and we have Buster the Bulldog here. He's our mascot here at Spin Market. And we ask you to give Buster a little rub on the head for good luck. And we're just watching how shiny his head's gotten over the last few podcasts that we're doing. So if you want to get some good luck, just give Buster a little.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck. Yes, there you go. Thank you very much.
This is great. Laura, Jen, thank you guys very much for taking time out of your obviously busy days to come and visit us here in Fort Dodge. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was fun.
This podcast is produced by Spin Market and Digital. Located in Fort Dodge, Iowa, Spin Market's highly skilled team can help you increase your market by updating your website, improving SEO, designing advertisements, and producing podcasts that will grab the attention of your market. Contact Spin Market today for all your digital marketing needs at digitalagent@spinmarket.com or call us at 515-302-8026. And to learn more, visit our website at www.spinmarket.com. That's digitalagent@spinmarket.com or 515-302-8026. Or visit our website at www.spinmarket.com.